Hey, what's up YouTube? I've got a 2006 Grizzly 660 here. Just want to do a quick vid on tips and tricks for a jet kit that I just installed about 8 months back. It is a dyno jet kit. I've got some little additions that I put onto this machine that made it so it would be a good idea to install a jet kit, such as I did a snorkel kit. I got 3 inlets going to the air box, so that's a significantly larger amount of air. 2-hour racing tip opened up the exhaust, not a ton, but a little bit, and I put a K&N air filter in there. Also wanted to get just a little bit more power out of it if you could. I've heard there's quite a bit more to be had because they generally run a little lean, these Grizzlies, at idle and on up. So that's kind of a little well-known fact about these things. So installing a jet kit, this is the proper conditions for it. So what I use to adjust it is a wideband O2 sensor. You're seeing it probably in here. What I did was drill the hole in the exhaust and welded an exhaust bung which comes with the kit, as well as the O2 sensor, the wideband O2 sensor itself, some of the wiring instructions, and a little wideband gauge. So this is what it looks like. APSX, you can get it for like 120 bucks on eBay, I believe. It works all right. This actual gauge is not waterproof. It's very cheap, so I don't leave it on there. I just have a little plug-in that I use that goes to the battery to get it power just like you need, and it says in the instructions. Then I tape it all off when I'm done, pack it all away. As well as I've got a little thing here for my jets, a little fishing box, tackle box thing. It's essential. That way you can keep everything organized when you do it. There's these little screwdrivers. You can get them from Jets R Us website. Terrible customer service, but they've got some good stuff. So also these little 90-degree angle kind of things from Home Depot are great for adjusting that idle screw down on the bottom. So I drilled out the little brass bushing for the idle screw at the bottom of the carb, and I can adjust the idle. And when you do that, man, this thing starts up. It's cold right now, and it'll just comes to life. So it really opens up the idle and makes it great to start, especially in the winter. If you've got winter around you and you want to up your ante when it comes to starting these things. I know these Grizzlies are terrible as far as cold starts, but this thing starts up all the time in the winter, no issues. Just because I opened up that idle screw and that starting circuit screw, as well as put this jet kit in. So as far as what jets I used, now I believe I just said I got a K&N air filter, 3 inlets to the intake for the snorkel, as well as this racing tip to open up the exhaust a little bit. I run it in between 300 to 4,000 feet, so it's not high enough to really make a huge change needed. Like 10,000 feet would be grounds for putting a pretty large jet in there, or a lot smaller jet rather. So what I did was I started off with a 150 main. I didn't mess with the needle jet, and that 150 was still a little bit on the lean side. It was just about perfect. I brought it up to a 155, which would be perfect in the winter, and that was great. I brought it up actually in the winter time to a 160, and this is what I got. It was a little rich, so you can barely see this thing. I know it's not focusing, sorry. But yeah, I was a little bit on the rich side when I had a 160 in there. So I backed it off and went down to went down to a 155 main. Sorry, it's not focusing. And that seems to work a lot better. So as far as what range you want it at when it comes to the air-fuel ratio, so obviously stoic efficiency is 14.7 to 1. That's going to get, I believe, the most optimal burn out of the air-fuel ratio mixture. Now, you'll get the most power out of somewhere in the range of 13 to 1 to 13.5 to 1, I believe it is. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. So I went for about a 13 to 13.5 air-fuel ratio, and that's what I'm getting out of that 155 to 150 main. And it works out really well. It runs great, starts even better. Here's a carb, and how I go about adjusting this thing, like I said earlier about the wideband O2 sensor. I go up and down a gravel road, and I do the off idle, I do the mid-range, and I do the wide open throttle. And I strap the gas tank over here just to the rail, to the rack, everybody sees this big mess here. It's nothing. It really takes not much time at all to get to this thing and do this. It's just a couple screws. There's like one right there. Those little plastic things, you got to be really careful you don't strip them out. And one down there, and then you got a 10mm bolt that you just do. See that circle right there? Run a extension with a 10mm down. It's 2 screws in the gas tank and a couple more right here and here. You got that thing off. It's not a big issue. As well as you'll have to remove the petcock. Just a screwdriver, a flat blade, or a Phillips will go in there and remove that thing. And then I put a little line on here, extension, going all the way down to the carburetor, just so I can do this driving up and down the road testing and then easily remove it. Some people can get at the carburetor. I used to do it before I had a snorkel kit from the side down here, but with the snorkel line running, it's kind of difficult. All you have to do is take the throttle out from up here. It's pretty easy to do, and just fish it on down, and you'll get more room to actually pull the carburetor, because you can see this thing's pretty tight. So once you remove that, you'll get more room to pull this, and without the gas tank removed, all you have to do is spin it with the carburetor attached. You just spin it and then just pop it off by loosening up these 2 metal clamps right there, and you can get access to it from the side right there. Also, you can get access if you reach your hand in here, and that's what these little tools like this has. That's where that comes in. All you do is adjust, or you do that to adjust your idle to make it rich or lean. And right now I've got mine at about 2 screws out, and that's a little bit, I think, on the rich side. So I got a 155 jet in now. The needle jet, I didn't mess with it. And then I believe it's the idle screw. I've got that thing, or the off idle, so I don't know what it's called, I forget, I apologize. But I've got that thing about 2 turns out, and it seems to work good. So I'll do another walk around video on this thing, maybe a snorkel kit later on. But yeah, that's it. Just some quick tips and tricks on doing that. If you want to comment, or questions are always welcome below, and I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching.